Good day, everyone. It's been a long day. It's been a long day, so I will share my screen now so that we'll get started. So, right. I want to believe that as many of us watched the makeup video I did as regards our last week's session, where we extracted the data, transformed the data, and then we loaded the data. So for those of you who worked on it, you should have saved that particular file. So this is what I used in saving the file. Hotels in Lagos, Tech in Transit, and Vividex. I hope you can all see where my cursor is showing. When you save the file, it changes from unsaved to this. All right. So this is the report view. We are in the report view right now. So now to take us to the table view so that we'll see what we did. Now this is the table view. This is the serial number. This is hotel name. This is location. This is address. This we named as currency type. If we cannot remember, where we splitted that one column into two. So we have the Naira sign here, and we have the hotel bill here. Then this is property type. This is likes. Let me scroll it to the side. And this is property types, likes, rating, and review. Now, there were two questions I asked. So before we continue, I would like to know what other kind of insights do you think we can gather from these data sets? Remember, I mentioned that put yourself in the shoes of someone who is an investor looking to invest in Lagos, and he has these data sets of hotels in Lagos. So one of the questions I asked was, a hint question I asked was, which of the hotel location is least represented? I think I mentioned that because I want to be sure we're all on the same page before I get into because the things we need to do today is primary key, secondary key, star schema. I will start the star schema. This particular data set does not allow us do much as regards to the star, but I will give us an idea of what that looks like. Then we're going to, it's through a DAX function that we'll be able to answer some of the questions. Okay, let me go straight to answering the one about which property type is least represented. So, so the first thing we're going to answer is which property is the least represented. So now this is what we're going to do. Now we're now going to look at where my cursor is. We're in the model, we're in the data pane. So we're going to load Power Query once again. Let me go back to the report view. Now we're back to the report view. Now you can see these three dots here. We're going to load Power Query once again. So you see it says more options. So I'll click on it and now say edit query. Once I click on edit query, it now loads Power Query. Now now it has loaded Power Query. Let me reshare my screen so that because it has taken us out of there. Good. So I'm sure you can see the Power Query screen that was loaded. Awesome. So the Power Query screen has loaded. So to answer the question as to what property type is least represented, now let's go to property types and see what it looks like there. Now you can see that there are so many property types. So many property types. I'm sure you can see where I clicked on the filter. Some might now ask, thinking that we've jumped out. All I did was to click on this drop down menu. That's the filter on the property type column. So I've clicked on it and it has summarized all the property types as per this data set. So we cannot be able to effectively answer the question looking at this. So now, let us now go to where it says rating. Because they have already done a rating, those who collected the data, you can now see that there is a rating from 6.0 down to 7.9. This is something we can work with. So from here, we can now start, and then we now have an area that is not available, NA. So to solve this problem of not available, when you're transforming data, you also make do for particular parameters are not included. Once again, we can see a combination of numbers and text. Now, we have to do three things here. First of all, we need to take care of this not available. So in place of not available, we'll use the numerical standard 0. So let's go out of this filter pane. First of all, you click on the column that has the issue you want to do. Then you now say replace value. All right. So replace value has loaded. Now, value to find. The value to find is NA. NA. Also, this is case sensitive. Make sure that you are typing in exactly what is in the data set. So we are going to find value to find NA and replace it with 0. All right, 0 is a numerical so that it is in tandem with the other entries you're seeing there. All right, now click on advanced options and say match entire cell content and say OK. It now replaces all the NA towards 0. Now, you still have another text mixed up with your numbers. So again, so we are still on, but before that, remember I said something about best practice. Okay, replace value. Now we're going to retype on the pipeline, because remember I said when you're working in the real world, you're not going to be the only one working on a particular file. So replace value. Now we're going to now type replaced NA with 0. Hit enter. So you have just explained that. So now to split the column, now split the column by number of what characters. Let me move this to the side. Now let's start counting. The number of characters here, we have 3, because where the cursor is, 7 is a character, point is a character, 2 is a character. So we're going to type here, number of characters, 3. Once as far left as possible. Advanced option columns, say OK. Boom, it has been splitted. All right. So we now have 2 columns. Now split columns. All right. So we now rename this to split column by character. Okay. And then look at this. It said change number types. Now let's go back and see whether they are correct in their number type. So this is what he called about the change number type. After he splitted columns, Power Query automatically changed the number types, and that is this. So this is correct. It is numbers. Now this also correct, ABC. So we're going to rename this to, I double clicked to rename to rating. Okay. Rating. And here we have very good. Do you notice something, that we have some areas that are blank? So let's come here. All right. Best practice, once again, renamed column to what? Renamed column to rating. Some persons might be wondering, what are we doing? We are transforming our data so that we will be able to answer the question on which property type is least represented. All right, so that is what we're trying to do, because initially it was all bundled up together and we can't be able to work with a column that has two properties, both numbers and text mixed together. Now, the same thing again we did as per replace value. We're going to come here and say replace value. All right. So where we have, so now the 0, remember that blank, the value to find is blank. Let me move this to the side so that we'll all see. This is blank. All this is blank. So we are reintroducing back our not available. All right, because the 0 signifies not available. So blank replace with what? NA. NA, not available. Go to advanced options. Go to advanced option, match entire cell. Say okay. Boom. So all the blank areas is now not available. So I'll write here replaced blank. Best practice, once again, replace blanks. It's NA. Okay. Instead of rating, we are going to say what? Grade. It makes more sense. Grade. Hotel grade. Hotel underscore grade. All right. Hotel grading. Hotel grading. Now notice I used underscore. Whenever you're naming, because as we're doing all this, the M query is doing its magic in the background. It's not good to leave spaces because it sometimes could confuse the engine that is running in the background. So when you want to put a space, always put an underscore. So hotel grading. So renamed column to hotel grading. Renamed to hotel underscore grading. Now, look at your column health. Okay. Your ratings. Okay. So let us reconfirm that every other column is as it should be. Yes, every other column is as it should be. No error anywhere. And so now we are done with Power Query. You can all see where my cursor is now. We are done with Power Query. We're done with our pipeline. So we're now going to close and apply. It is still working in the background. Once it's done working, it will pop up a new screen. Then I will share the screen again. It's done working. The screen is coming up. And now the screen is up. So let's go to the table view to reconfirm that Power Query has done its magic. So hotel grading, we can see review, we can see, you click on the filter. This is review, fine. Hotel grading, let's click on it. Very good. Good. Now we'll need to go back to Power Query because we're supposed to do one more level step. So I'm coming back here to load back Power Query, because part of what we're supposed to do again today is to show conditional column. So load Power Query, so edit Power Query. And also you can load Power Query as many times as you need to. So it's loading a new window, and I will share that new window again now once Power Query is open. Now Power Query has loaded and I'm sharing. Now we're back to Power Query. We're back to Power Query because there was one more step I needed to do to be able to answer the question of which hotel is the least represented. Okay. Now we need to group all these things are going to take a lot of time. So this is where conditional column comes in. Okay. We're going to make a conditional column from this particular column. All right, so that we can have 4 groups. A group of group A, group B, group C, and group D. Just stick with me, stay with me. A group of group A, group B, group C, and group D. So I'll click on the ratings column, okay, and now go to add column. You can see where my cursor is. See how my cursor traveled. It moved from here to this place. Add column. All right. Another add column, you can see column from examples. We don't want column from examples. Column from examples will make a replica of this. Okay, we don't want that. Custom column, we don't want a custom column. Invoke custom column with a function. This is advanced level. We don't want to do that. Rather, we want to make a conditional column. All right. So we're going to click on add a conditional column. It's loading the statements. I hope we can all see what loaded now. It said add a conditional column. It now asks add a conditional column that is computed from other columns or values. So we're going to compute a conditional column from this ratings column, and we'll name that new column. It says what's the new column name? We're going to call it, we already have hotel grading, and we're now going to call it hotel underscore groups. Hotel underscore groups. Group or group. My engine, I got F9 in English. Hotel groups. Abi, does hotel group sound nice? Or groups? Hotel grouping. Thank you very much. Good. So now column. Which column are we picking from? Let me move this. We are picking from the ratings column. Okay. So you now select the drop down arrow here. This is an if statement. Now, what we are doing, Power BI helps us do what we call no code. This is the no code environment now. All right. Once you know what you're doing, you don't need to write that. You could write these conditions under the M language, but we don't like to stress. We don't want to stress ourselves. So they've provided us with conditional columns, So why stress yourself typing the code when you can just say if it is from the ratings column, because see, this is the ratings column, all right? So from the ratings column, what is the operator? Now remember when we saw, you can see we have so many, see where my cursor is, so many numbers here, 6, blah, blah, blah. Now for our first group, we want to have group A. We want to have any hotel with a rating higher than 8.0 or equal to 8.0. All right, we'll group it as group A. So our operator is going to be what? Greater than or equal to. Is someone trying to say something? Now we want our group A to look into the numbers. The highest numbers we have here is between 7.5 and 8.0 and above. So our first operator should be greater than or equal to 7.5, so that it will capture every number from 7.5 upwards. So we're going to select greater than or equal to, what is the value? 7.5. All right. It now asks us what is the output. The output we want is what? Group A. So I'm going to now write group. Okay. Here we can use space. It is not a crime to use space here. Group A. All right. Now, add another clause. We select the same column again from the ratings column. All right. Now, the next range of numbers that we have lower than 7.5, lower than 7.5, but equal to 6.5. So we are now going to say greater than or equal to what? 6.5. Already, Power BI is very smart. It knows that we want to pick numbers between 7.49 and 6.5. Power BI is very smart. So the upmost value, all right, for group A is 6.5. And the output should be what? Group B. All right. We now add another clause. Because you remember we had so many ratings. So we were trying to see how we can accommodate all the ratings from 0 down to 10. All right. Now, the next one again, we'll pick from column name ratings. All right. Once again, Power BI is very smart. So we're now going to say greater than or equal to 6.0, because we want to capture all the numbers between 6.499 and 6.0. All right. So we're now going to say greater than or equal to 6.0. And we'll call those ones group C. Remember I said we're looking to have 4 groups. And then the last but not the least, we're picking from the ratings, and we'll say greater than or equal to 0. All right. And this group we call group what? Group D. Now you can see this else, no else, because we have all our values are between 0 to 10. So no need to add an else statement. So we're now clicking. Remember the first thing we did was to do what? Was to name our column name. All right. And then we now picked the column from which this conditional column will be done. So once I click OK, boom, Power BI now creates our conditional column. Power BI is doing its magic. So you can see, let us 0 group D. You can see ratings 0 group D, 0 group D. So notice something. We just came out of the conditional. Remember we're here, conditional column. We created a conditional column with all those conditions, 4 different conditions. Now, before I changed the data type, you notice that the health of the column was not showing, because for some reason it was mixing up, thinking it was a mixture of figures and numbers. Until I now changed it to a text column, it now immediately notified that everything was now is now a text. Sorry, is now a group. So we have grouped all these hotels you're seeing here. All these hotels you're seeing here, these hotel names, their location, we've grouped them now based on the various ratings, the multiple ratings we're seeing here. See, 21 different ratings, 21 distinct ratings. We have now summarized them into 4. All right. So that we can know which group is the least represented. Good. So now, best practice. First of all, I'm going to rename. We added a conditional column, added hotel grouping column. Okay, so I'm going to rename this added hotel underscore grouping conditional column. Okay, and then here changed column type to text. I'm now doing close our query. Once it is done loading, I would reshare my screen again. So now we're back to our report view. Best practice. Now this is our data pane. Can you all see where my cursor is? This is the visualization pane. This is the data pane. Now we're supposed to, best practice is to have all your formulas under one model. So now before we do that, I want to show us our model view. When you talk of star schema, this is where the magic happens. Okay, star schema. You would now see we're going to create a model view. Something will be here, and we'll link it to this. Until you have that relationship, whatever you're doing is going to be broken. Your formulas will not work. Your calculations will not work. All right. Now, you can notice that under this model of hotels in Lagos, you can notice we have the summation sign here. Hotel bill, we can see the summation sign. Under hotel bill, remember when hotel bill was showing us Naira sign and figures. If we had not splitted the Naira sign from the figures, we wouldn't have this summation. We will not be able to work with the hotel this thing. Let me take us back to table view for some of you who may have forgotten. Table view, hotel bill, you can see hotel bill is strictly figures. You can see the summation sign here. Some set the default way to summarize values in this column. For example, sum or average, all right? So it already tells us here, sum, uncategorized, do not categorize it. There are options. If it were a longitude or latitude, this is where we'll specify longitude or latitude. Maybe when you're working in the when you're working on a data set that has to do with longitude and latitude, this is where you specify longitude and latitude. Okay. So back to our model view. So for now we have only one model. So we want to create another model. So stick with me while we do that. So we're going to go to what? See where I am going to enter data. All right. I clicked on enter data. While it loads, now this is where we are going to have all our formulas. This is where we're going to have all our formulas. So we're now going to rename it. See, name of the table. It's not a table. We're using it for our formula. So we're going to call it measures. Okay. This is where all our measures would be. And we say load. You can notice that it's loading And now we now have what? We now have what we have measures. Can you see measures under hotels in Lagos? Can you all see it? Now, I went to enter data. I clicked on enter data. I'm doing the step once again. All right. Under table, I clicked on measures. I renamed it as measures. Okay. Measures. Okay. So I now clicked on load. It's going to load another measure. I'll just delete it so that we don't have more than one measure. It's loading measures 3. So can you see? That was how we did it. So I don't need this one. I hope we're all together. I don't need this, so I will delete it. So see, delete from model. Okay, before I delete, let me take us to the model view. Can you see we have this? When they now talk of star schema, when they talk of star schema, let me try and move things around. When you have links between this and this, maybe on that measure here, it already forms a star. Okay, so this would be this is our what we call our fact table or primary key. Okay, your primary key is, how do I explain it? Okay, when you go to buy a phone, all right, those of us who like to buy phones, when you go to buy a phone or you go to buy devices, you remember that your device comes with a lot of things inside it, right? Sorry, I'm up north. That's why I'm saying pali. We call it pali here. The container that comes with your phone has so many things inside: earpiece, phone, everything inside. That is your primary key. Okay. When you now when you now remove your earpiece, okay, your earpiece is from your primary key, but it's not a secondary key because it's a part of the primary key. All right. When you remove your charger was from the primary key. All right. So that is your secondary key. So the relationship between your charger and the container is that it came out of the container. So we're going to form relationships. So that is where, so when you put them side by side, you're now forming a star schema. We would see the star as we advance in this model. But for now, let us answer the question of which is least represented. Okay? So let me go back to table view and delete this one that we don't need for now. So delete from model. It asked me, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. I want to delete. So I've deleted it. All right. So now, what we are going to do now is to create our table. There's what we call a supporting table. We're going to where we are trying to build our star schema now. So to create our table, now remember I said something about case sensitivity. Go back to your table. Let's go back to our table. You can see how it is written: group space D. So now we'll come back to our report view, enter data. All right, we are creating our supporting table. Now we're going to name this table dim underscore hotel underscore grouping. Why I said dim is dimension. That's what it means, our dimension table, okay? So see where my cursor is. Can you see insert row? So I've inserted second row. I've inserted third row because we have what? 4 groups. We have group what? We have group A, group B, group C, and group D. All right. So I'm double clicking now. Group what? Group space A. I double click again. Group space B. Okay. I'm double clicking again. Group space C. And double click again. Group space D. Sorry, capital letter D. Cell underscore grouping. Yes. So now we are done and we'll say load. It's loading. So dimension table underscore grouping. Let's go. You see? Did you see what happened? Power BI has automatically noticed that, you remember we said something about relationship. It has already noticed that you have different kind of relationship. One to many, one to one, and many to many. All right. So Power BI has already noticed that this is a one to many relationship. Can you see? That is hotel grouping from dimension table, hotel grouping. One group here has many representations here. Okay? So you can see it. So this is our first, we started creating our star. We have now created our relationship one to many. So now back to our view. Now, why are we creating this? Now, without that relationship, we will not be able to know the number of hotels in group A. How would we want to find that? Now we're in our visualization pane. This is what our card visual. So I clicked on card visual and this. Okay. Now we want to know, look at where the data, this thing. We want to know how many hotels, all right, are group A. So we'll come to our measures and now click on new measure. All right. Did you see what happened? Click on new measure. Now, this is DAX now. This environment that has opened up now is what? DAX. Is our DAX measure. Now, before we go to the number of hotels that are group A, let us look for the number of hotels that are in, let's say, Ikeja. There is a column, if you can remember, there is a column that has location, Ikeja and the rest, VI and the rest. So let's look for the number of hotels that are in Ikeja. All right. So we'll say the function we'll use for this. There are two functions we're going to use. We're going to use the calculate function. There is a function called calculate in Power BI. So it's called calculate. I'm supposed to have added the equals to calculate functions, calculate function. Now open brackets. The expression, don't worry, before you ask questions, just follow along with me. The first expression is our table. This is our table. The table we are dealing with is called what? Hotel in what? In Lagos. So that's the first expression. We say count. There's another function called count A. You would do all these expressions also when you in Excel. These are also Excel functions. So count A, right? Count A. What count A means is that you want to count the number of rows that are not blanks. Count A, open bracket again. As I clicked on open bracket, IntelliSense, this is what is called IntelliSense. The IntelliSense of Power BI is already asking us, okay, where do you want to count non-blank rows? And we want to count non-blank rows, hotel in Lagos. So this is it, hotel in Lagos. See where my hand is, hotel in Lagos under location. So I'm going to click under locations. All right. Under locations, I close my brackets. I now want to give a condition. So I'll put a comma and press Shift, Enter, and go to the next line. To give a condition. What is my condition? Remember I said I want us to count the number of locations, the number of hotels with location Ikeja. All right. So my condition, my filter statement, you can see up here now is asking what is the filter statement. The filter statement now is I want to filter by same hotel in Lagos. Okay. Hotel in Lagos under location. Okay. Hotel in Lagos with location equal to, because Ikeja is a text string, I'm now going to introduce a quote. When you want to introduce text string, you introduce a quote. And I type Ikeja. Sorry. The way it appears, Ikeja. If not, it's going to pull up an error. Ikeja. Shift and enter. Close. If this Ikeja was wrong, it would show me a bad error. So I'm now going to comment. Now, remember our card visual is still selected. I'm now going to click on it. Boom. Did you see what happened? 290.
Yes.
See it, it counted under the table view. Hold on, let me go. I'm still in the measures. Let me go back to hotel in Lagos. That's why when I clicked on table view, it didn't show anything. Hotel in Lagos, table view. Hotel in Lagos, show me table view, good. Table view, under location, you can see Ikeja, Ikeja, Ikeja. There are so many other locations here. Festac, Agege, Apapa. So if we wanted to look for Apapa, we can do another measure for that. We'll do it again. Let me repeat the whole process again. So I will do card visual, okay? I'll come to this visual, click outside. Always be careful when you are working in Power BI. Click outside before you click anything in this area. Now I'll come to measures, best practice. I'm supposed to have renamed this measure to Ikeja counts. Let's do it, Ikeja counts, okay? And hit enter. it's going to automatically rename it. Do you notice that? Do you notice here we change to Ikeja account? Also here change to Ikeja account. Okay. Now there is one beautiful um, shortcut called Control and A. Very easy. And Control and C. Okay. We don't like to stress ourselves. We now come and do what? New measure. Okay. Under the new measure, you now say Control and what? V. Now instead of Ikeja count, Agege, let's say Agege count. Agege count. All right. Say enter. Agege counts. So now we come back, click here. Now click on this 290. It is telling us 290. Let us to be sure that it is not a fluke. This is an error. Do you know why?
We didn't change the Ikeja inside the
Thank
formula.
you. You're very smart. We didn't change. Good. So I'm going to click outside. Come back here and change this to Agege, because we did not tell it that bros, we are looking for Agege. Agege. So now say okay. Good. Have you seen it?
Yes, sir.
It changed to 18.
Yes, it's correct now.
Thank you very much. So we have done quite a number today. Now it's open for questions. If any other person has any question to ask.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. It's been very explicit the way you explain actually. So, but
right.
Just a quick one. When you clicked measures, remember we deliberately named that you call it something table. Yeah, we deliberately named it measures. So when you clicked it, it popped up new measures. If it were to be a different name, let's say Bola, or let's say Christ. So will it just say new Christ, or it has been programmed to read measures? You know, when we click and we want to find out the count. Yeah, exactly, this place.
Yes. This is already
just
a measure.
Question. Okay.
Yeah, this is already a measure. So that was why it now named this measure 2.
Okay, when you click measure 2,
you understand?
Just click measure 2 and see what new measures. You know, it will bring new measures.
Okay, new measure. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. When you want to say new measure, yes. Okay.
If we have not named that stuff, if we have not named that table measures, will it still be new measure here?
No, it wouldn't. New measure is the default name. Okay. Let me do this. Let me do this and call it DAX. Have you seen it? Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it, sir. So let's now click.
So now click new measure.
Aha, that's clear.
New measure is the default name. All right.
Okay.
So
ideally, I want to quickly check
that.
Okay.
Okay.
The IntelliSense, just for out of curiosity, you know, there are other analytic tools that we use that when you are writing things, it will pop up some suggestions like the IntelliSense here. Is it called IntelliSense?
IntelliSense is what is running in the background that is popping up those suggestions. So IntelliSense is what it's called. IntelliSense.
I have a question, sir.
Okay. Ask.
My question is, for the one I downloaded, I don't know how come, but it's not showing error from the cost, so I did not bother to split it. it was showing 100% this thing. And now when we did what we did here, like what I was following, at the end of the day, it shows it was now later bringing in, but from the start, the Naira sign was not there already.
Did you first try to open the .csv file in Excel?
Yes, I opened it in.
You shouldn't have. You should have left it, because once you do that, it's going to pop up a message asking you some parameters need to be converted. When you click OK, you have distorted it already.
The way I downloaded it, it was zipped. So I now, like when I now open it, like open with, I think, I don't know, maybe that's.
You shouldn't have asked it to open with anything. You download and leave it the way it was, and then you now open your Power BI and go and pick it the way it is, the way you downloaded it.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt, sir.
Secondly, sir, the second question is that, like, does it matter, like the other time, like IM underscore, like, does it matter what we can name it, or we can just give it our own suitable names that we can remember, like the one you named?
Does what matter?
Okay, like, okay, sorry, sir. Let me go to this thing. While we were editing okay, let me go back to data view. Okay, the hotel group.
Hello, Mr. Chuk.
Additional add column, and we name it.
Wait, one after the other.
Yes, sir. Like when we wanted to add column,
Yeah,
like to create the what do they call it? The connection, sir. So like you created a column measure.
Okay. That the supporting table. That's this one.
Yes, exactly.
This table, it's called supporting table. Okay, this is good.
Okay, yeah. So I wanted to say, like, does it matter what we have to name it, or we should just give it our own suitable this thing? Like this one, you name DIM. Like
dimension is dimension hotel. Yeah, remember best practice. All we're doing is best practice, so that when you share this, because you're going to be working in a company, when someone comes and look at this, he already understands that this is a dimension table. You know, when someone comes and sees this, he already knows that this is where all the formulas is, your DAX expression. Then when he sees this, he now knows that this is the facts table. In some cases, some people will click here and rename this to facts underscore hotel in Lagos. But I just left it as it is. All right. You leave this as it is. You know it is the main table. Every other one is a dimension table, is a primary key, while this is the main one, your facts table. Okay. So naming convention, that's what it's called. There has to be a naming convention. You need to let others who are going to work on the same team know which is a dimension table and which is a facts table, which is the main table, and which is the formula table.
Thank you, sir.
All right, you're welcome. Adisa, your hand is up.
Yes, I was asking before my network threw me out about IntelliSense. Is it a general programming term, or is only applicable on Power BI?
IntelliSense is the engine behind what gives you suggestions. IntelliSense is what it's called.
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. An assignment is during this week. I would want there are not so many data sets available. I don't want to use foreign data sets because we will not be able to relate with foreign data sets. So I have tried to, this was the best I could come up with. Okay, I have a survey data set of census, but that is going to be on a much higher level when we're talking of qualitative analysis, but that will be more down the line. If anybody here a data set that we could work with, please do well to share that with us so that we can work with that in our week 3 class. Or since I'll be added to the group, you share with me. But please, guys, you will all give me time to look at things. I apologize in advance if I will not be able to answer your query on the go.
Yeah, talking about the data set, I mean, that's something myself and you would really fix. We can continue with what we're doing because this is actually a huge stuff. That is the hotel data set. We are not done. We are halfway into it. Understand that this is a proper project. So imagining you're working in operations or whatever department, you're working with an hotel and then you need to analyze data and to give them insights, or or any department that requires this kind of a thing. So it's something we need to get done. And so we are not lacking when it comes to data sets and all. That said, um, about Mr. Anthony's schedule, I think people should know again that he's the country, let me say, I would say country manager, but he's in charge of the Nigerian community when it comes to Upwork. So if you're ready for freelancing, I'm sure before the end of this bootcamp, he's going to take us through how to set up our profiles there to get things done. And also, he works with an Indian company as well, remotely, where he's also managing group of people, and he needs to be online. Sometimes the time difference, and also I understand his schedule while he's still doing his freelancing, still as a father of I think 4 and every other thing he does that I don't even know. So like and he's a clergyman. So that said, we just understand his schedule and try to see how we can work with that.